In today's video, let's give you all the care and husbandry information you'll need in order to keep Carabena versicolor in your tarantula collection. Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome to this latest episode. I am your host Robbie and this is robbiestalkingts, tarantula content for tarantula lovers just like yourselves. In today's video I'm going to be giving you care and husbandry information on the awesome species that is Carabena versicolor. But before we get into that, I just want to say, if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate seeing the same faces time and time again, writing in the comments. But if you're new here and want more awesome tarantula content in your YouTube feed, then please consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, just so you don't miss future uploads. Now, all that's been said, let's show you the Carabena versicolor. So let's give you some care and husbandry information on Carabena versicolor. Now, Carabena versicolor, also commonly known as the Antilles pinktoe, the Martinique pinktoe, or the Martinique red tree spider, comes from the island of Martinique in the Caribbean. Now, this is an arboreal bird spider, so for all you new to the hobby, it lives in trees. It's a New World tarantula, so does have urticating hairs. Growth wise, these guys are really fast. From slings, they reach adulthood in 1 to maybe 2 years, which is really quick for any tarantula. But they only reach a leg span of between 13 and 15 centimeters, so they're not the biggest spider you can get. Life expectancy, females can live up to 12 years, whereas every other species that you could ever possibly get, males have a much shorter lifespan, 2 to 3 years. So if you get a male, you're not going to have it a long time. Now, these guys do have a really interesting life cycle. As slings, they start off with a really stunning neon blue coloration, and as they develop, they turn it into a gorgeous purple and red colour, can be seen all over the body. And as soon as they reach adulthood, they have a striking red appearance, as well as a gorgeous green carapace, which is absolutely stunning. So, care and husbandry wise, as slings, you're going to keep them in a normal arboreal setup for a tiny sling, but it's very, very, very important you give these guys a lot of cross ventilation. There's been cases in the past where without enough, these guys, they just died. And it was called sudden avic death syndrome, and that was purely because the enclosures become too stuffy and too humid, and they ended up dropping like flies, and a lot of people in the hobby considered them really difficult to keep. As well as the cross ventilation, you will need to keep a water dish inside the enclosure for the Carabena versicolor to drink. But also what I do is lightly mist the enclosure every 3 to 4 days and let it dry out. It's very important because, like I said, if the humidity and the moisture gets too high and there's too much stagnant air in the enclosure, you're going to end up with a dead spider. This being said, it has been proven that once these guys reach adulthood, they're not really in as much need for the cross ventilation as their younger counterparts, so keep this in mind when rehousing this species throughout its life cycle. Slings and juveniles, be really vigilant on that cross ventilation and don't oversaturate the enclosure. Now, as for a feeding schedule, as slings, I like to feed mine every other day. If you do this, you're more likely to get them to that pre-molt stage quicker and get them into a juvenile size, which for most keepers, once you get there, you're pretty much out of the woods and don't have to worry about them dying. As juveniles, I still feed them every other day. It's not until it gets to adulthood that I will feed these guys once a week maximum. Now, for the type of prey you want to use as slings, you can use small mealworms, also very small crickets. They lap these up. These are great hunters as soon as you put the food in there. As long as you pull it on the top of the web, they will come out and get it. Now, I've noticed that with most avicularia, including the Caribena versicolor, they don't tend to go down to the floor and pick up prey there. So keep that in mind, as these will build webs on top of the enclosure, which makes it really easy just to drop prey onto it and let the spider take it. Temperament wise, these guys are considered really docile and inquisitive, but don't take that with a pinch of salt, because as with every species tarantula, with persistent provocation, there is a chance that you could get a bite. Now, normally what these guys will do when they feel threatened is their little poop cannons. They will either shoot poop at you, or they will rub their abdomen upon your skin and get those urticating hairs everywhere, and you will be itching like crazy. Second of all, as handleable as they are, because I found them to be docile, like I said, I don't advocate handling at all, because any slight drop or fall for the tarantula can result in a nasty injury and you'll end up with a dead spider. So definitely take that into consideration, even as docile as they are. So let's do a little recap before we finish the video. Carabena versicolor, arboreal tarantula. Females live for 12 years, males 3 to 4 years, not very long at all. These guys are an arboreal tarantula, so you want an arboreal setup. Simple substrate, cork bark, fake plants, because these guys do like to make a very interesting web tunnel system in which they live in. Feeding schedule, slings I feed every other day, right through to juveniles, keep that every other day. Adults once a week on larger prey. Make sure in the enclosure there's lots of cross ventilation. Only mist it every 3 to 4 days and let it dry out, and definitely provide a water dish. You want to do that with all your tarantulas, it's really important. Temperament wise, these guys are really docile, but they can be very exploratory, and they do like to leave the enclosure and have a walk around, so make sure you have a catch cup to hand, because it could come in handy. The last thing you want is the tarantula getting out of the enclosure and going on a little adventure around your house. Now, if you stick to these principles that I've said in the video, you're going to have a very long-lived and happy spider. So there you have it, all the care and husbandry information you could ever need in order to keep Caribena versicolor in your collection. Now, this is the end of the video, but before we go, I just want to take the time to remind you guys about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway we're doing on the channel. That's right, at 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving you, yes you, the chance to win a T. Celedonia. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, and go over and watch my Pislaveria Tigrina Wesley enclosure revamp video, and just write T. Celadonia in the comments. Once you've done that, you'll be entered into the draw. Now you've got that information, I'm going to end the video here, and I'll see you in the next one.